Let's start to lift the tempo. Let's change your pace. Change your pace and get there. That just has to be good. Yeah. Come on, Cass. Yeah, Benny. Yes. Done. Ready for next year.
Feeling a little bit tender.
I'll say that. Haven't you heard of filters? You just warned me, I would have. You recovered that quick. Right. Oh, a little bit of Monday. On the warm up.
Right, bounces around the outside, please.
Boy, really sharp there now, on the outside.
He made himself a real leg horse lightweight. About a Monday, diving over to him.
Good, get there. Well done.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Theatre of Dreams at Darcy Street for a little Sunday afternoon NPL TAS football. We've got South Hobart taking on the Glenorchy Knights in what is sure to be an intriguing fixture. Really looking forward to this one. The Knights got a few players back in recent weeks, although they were no match for the Devonport Strikers at the last time of asking. They gave them a bit of a scare early on, but ultimately too strong were the Strikers. They face another one of the contenders for the title today. South Hobart are desperately needing 3 points to keep pace with Devonport after their thumping win yesterday. But they face a difficult opponent here today, and a pretty good game in prospect. So what are you expecting from this one? Good afternoon to you, Jacob Dool.
Hi Andrew, good to be here again. Yeah, I think, as you said, Glenorchy really gave Devonport a bit of a scare in the first half, and I think that kind of performance is what they should be aspiring to for the rest of the season. And if they can put together a full 90 minutes similar to that, I think they could give South Hobart a really good run here, but it's just a matter of seeing that consistent performance from them. We still haven't quite seen it yet. Yeah, it's the big question mark. We know that and a raft of injuries. They welcome a number of those players back into the side today. We see the ball plinth there, all ready to go. But looking at the team list, probably one of the strongest Knights team I've seen. We'll start with the host, though, the Laka Seljuk Cup champions in South Hobart, and Jack Bowman into the starting lineup today. So one change to the side from their last outing. Kieran Brown. Okay, I think we got a bit of an error there, Ash. I don't reckon Kieran Brown is playing twice, so I might just consult the team sheet there. But he is restored to the South Hobart goal today, Kieran Brown. So Graham Wright on the bench. He had been given the call-up for the Cup. So that's an interesting one. Perhaps the pace of Glenorchy Knights is the reason for that. So we'll go through the rest of the team. Adam Gorry will play at right back, you'd imagine. Darcy Hall fit enough for a start. That's promising signs for South. They'll be glad to have him back out there. Hasn't started the game since the early weeks of the season. Ben Hamlet, one of the former strikers in the state right now, he's absolutely flying. Toby Havainen, he was the hero in the Cup final, striking that late volley. Dick Morton has had a good season in midfield. He'll be key again today. He's got a habit of lighting up Darcy Street. Oscar Thomas will presumably be partnering Jack Bowman in the middle of defence. So it looks like he's coming for Hugh Ludford, who's on the pine today, the veteran defender. Maybe just rotating a little bit to keep things fresh there. Iski Van Dorn has really come into some wonderful form. I thought he was the best player on the ground in that Cup final. Absolutely torched him down the wing. And there we go. Loic Farrell is the man who was initially missing from that list. He comes into midfield, the French Falcon. He has the best of field in that final. On the bench, a fair bit of youth there, and then experience at the other end. You got Berezanski, Hallam and Lavi, so some prodigiously talented youngsters, and then a couple of veterans in Ludford and Graham Wright. Any surprises there for you, Dooley? No, nothing too surprising. You pretty much know what to expect from South most of the time, don't you? But with Darcy Hall coming in and starting, they're starting to really get back to full strength, and you can see it with that depth on the bench too.
Yeah, certainly Berezanski has been starting in recent weeks, but just a sub appearance for him. And we move on to the Glenorchy Knights now. And two big names at the top there. I think this is the first time I'm right in saying that the Brown brothers have played together all season, which is unlucky for South, I guess. They're finally going to cop them, but I think we've had Callum out for a large part of the season through injury. He's just got back to fitness. And then Declan, I think, had a university exam, which disrupted things a little. But really looking forward to seeing this Knights team with the Brown boys on respective flanks. And they're going to really test South Hobart's fullbacks, who do like to push up the pitch, so that could be a real key to the game. Diego Gutierrez Chavez, he'll do his best work in midfield. Just going to see what the defence will be, because Lockie Hardwick's been picked along with Tyler Harrison and Thomas Young, so unless they're playing three centre-backs, maybe we'll see Young pushed up into midfield. We've seen that before, but Harrison and Hardwick, I would probably imagine, will be the defensive pairing there, with Toghill and Warrener as the fullbacks. Nicholas Naden, Alex Lazinski, a former South Hobart player. He's immediately taken to this Knights team, given a real strong presence. And without Matthew Nowicki in the lineup today, he'll play that hold-up centre-forward role with the Browns and Naden. Some real pace running off him, and I think that's why we've seen Kieran Brown picked today for South Hobart. Just he plays that high sweeping line a little bit better than Graham Wright, who's probably stronger physically in the air, but against a team like Knights, perhaps that's what the thinking was. So we'll wait and see what the defence looks like. Thomas Young and Tyler Harrison, I thought would be the defensive pairing, but Hardwick's presence on the team sheet probably complicates things a little bit there. Could be a back five, we'll wait and see. But on the bench, you've got Ryan Backhouse, the backup keeper, Lockie Hart, pretty sharp backup keeper there. Samuel James, Aaron Marnie, and the ever-willing runner, Jake Stewart. It's a pretty strong-looking Knights team there, Dooley.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? And I think, as you said at the top, it's seeing the two Browns playing together will be really exciting. I haven't seen too much of Declan, but Callum last week was really the barometer for them. When he was on in the first half, they just looked almost unstoppable going forward down the wings, and then when he was kept a bit quieter, they struggled a bit. So it'll be really interesting to see how South deal with those two.
Yeah, certainly going to have to put the clamps on him. And Callum Brown, the strikers fought back quite well, but he looked like he was going to just rip the game away from them in that first 25 minutes last week. And he's now scored 6 goals in 2 starts and a brief sub-appearance since he's returned from injury. Of course, last season won both the Golden Boot and the Vic Shooting Medal in the Southern Championships, so he's got a fairly good track record. Was absolutely lights out in the cup game they played as well. So this is a player who's, over the last 12 months or so, really dominated whenever he's taken the pitch. And back to fitness, he's going to be a real key to the game, and whether it's Toby Havainen or Adam Gorry, they're going to have to mark him tightly. But you mentioned how Devonport did eventually clamp him down. And perhaps that's the one knock, is they can go just drift out of games a little bit. And just the way the midfield of Devonport and the defence took a hold of that game last week, I think we can expect to see South trying to do something similar here today.
Yeah, the blueprint's definitely there, I think, that Devonport have given, and South are a good enough team to play a similar game plan, I think.
Okay, just getting confirmation the table hasn't been updated from yesterday, so add a couple of points there for Devonport and Olympia, and indeed the Hobart Zebras, but South Hobart there in 3rd place. Will begin the day, I think, 11 points adrift of the Strikers. They do have 2 games in hand, and of course they meet the Devonport Strikers next week. That is going to be a massive game up at Valley Road. Season-defining one, and they're going to want to head into that off the back of a victory today, because if they were to drop points to Knights today, it suddenly gets very, very tough. And next week at Valley Road absolutely becomes a must-win for them. So there's their recent run of games. Throw in, of course, some cup results, which has been the bulk of their fixtures over the past couple of months, and where they've probably played their best football. The big win over Olympia there, the cup final over Devonport. So they've been in pretty good touch, South Hobart. And we have a look at the Glenorchy Knights, and going down 5-2 to Devonport and Launceston City. That was they had plenty of chances, just couldn't take one. They had a lot of play in the second half, couldn't find a way to break through. Before that, a couple of pretty comprehensive wins, but I think we're all expecting a little bit more out of Knights, and certainly with the personnel they've got out there today, they're capable of more than they've probably shown in recent weeks. So we've got Tony Peart as our man on the middle today. Looks like he's having a busy weekend. I was calling his game last night up in Launceston, so certainly getting himself involved. The ref's boss, and look, he's the best official we've got, so why not? And this is a big game. Looking forward to it. What is your prediction for this one, Dawley?
I think South will probably end up being a bit too strong here, but we could see a really entertaining game and potentially a really close game, but I think they've just got too much quality across the park in the end.
Yeah, I think they're coming along pretty nicely right now, South Hobart, and you'd be loath to tip against them. I do think this Knights team has a couple of goals in them, but maybe it's a hopeful prediction more than anything, but I'll go 3-2 South Hobart. I think we could be in for some real goals here today. These are 2 teams that like to attack. So
certainly hope you're right.
Yes, I think everyone here does. It's a good, lovely day for football. Conditions pretty good. Not too cold, which it certainly can be at this time of season. Have a look at Tyler Harrison and Nick Morton here in the middle there. And Higginson just doing her best work. They're snapping some shots. So, all in readiness. Warthog has been in pretty good touch. He had a bit of swagger about him this season. Really taking on responsibility in the midfield. Covers so much territory. Tyler Harrison, look, he's had a few injury problems, but they'll be glad to have him back out there. And certainly the injury problems Knights have had this year, that it's hard to understate them. think they've had something like 3 players who've played over 8 games. They've played 12 or 13. Only 3 have had over 8. I think everyone else is on about 6 or 7. That just shows the constant revolving door of personnel they've had out there. That just makes it so hard to get any continuity in your game.
Yeah, I was going to say, we talked about their consistency, and that's what they're lacking, but it's hard to be consistent if you don't have a consistent lineup out there on the field every week.
But I think they've settled on this side today is just about full strength. It looks like Thomas Young is going to take his place in midfield. So Young, Lockie Hardwick in at centre back. Probably a response to the 5 goals they conceded last week. They're a little bit overwhelmed by the class of Devonport. And we know with Hamlet and Marcus Seljak, Darcy Hall out there, there's certainly the quality in this South team to trouble them in a similar fashion as Lazinski returning to Darcy Street for the first time since his move. He'll be looking to prove a point after finding himself out of South Hobart's first team plans. As Darcy Hall, so good to see him back in the starting lineup. Another who's been blighted by injuries as Oscar Thomas, the Giraffe, steers it forward to Hamlet. Picked up by Hall. Worked back to Gutierrez Chavez. Now Matthias Toghill driving one in the direction of Brown. Gorry. Now Whiskey Van Dorn. Dorn, you about taking on Warner early on, but slightly sloppy touch there from the Calgary Fly. Just, still warming up into this one. So it's like they've got the 4-4-2 today night, or maybe a 4-2-4 the way it's sort of lining up at the moment. Young Gutierrez in midfield. Everyone else playing fairly high up the field. And Naden out wide, Lazinski and Brown in the middle, and all of them taking up pretty advanced position early on in this one.
That really does look to be a front 4, doesn't it? Which is promising for those goals you were hoping for.
Sure, I hope so. But, Adam Gorry lays this one back to Loic Farrell, and South just a little bit off in the opening minutes here with their passing.
Yeah, fairly sloppy first couple of minutes here, really, but wouldn't expect that to continue for too long.
You can expect a bit more crispness. Loic Farrell nods this one down to Van Dorn. 2 real keys in that cup final win. Darcy Hall nodding on. Away by Harrison to Gutierrez Chavez. Now Nick Naden try and get in behind. The 2 number 3s look like they're going to be running at each other. And Nick Naden and Adam Gorry, and that will be a really good battle, I reckon. So, looks like Callum Brown is starting as a striker with Declan out on the wing for Knights. Hamlet pressing up here on Tyler Harrison. Young Lockie Hardwick. Gutierrez Chavez, and experienced custodian in net there in Dimmy Nestor. Just shanks that one a little. South will take the throw through Havinen. Orton works it towards Hall, away from him by Thomas Young. Former Vic Tuning medalist Thomas Young. One's nodded down by Havinen. Farrell steers it forward. Darcy Hall just unaware of where the ball ended up, but they'll get the throw in. Sun breaking through here at Darcy Street. Really is a lovely day for football.
I wasn't expecting this. I was here yesterday and it was absolutely freezing, so this is much nicer.
Slightly nicer conditions for the NPL. Of course, South with a big win in the Super League yesterday, 8-0 over Clarence. Themselves off the foot of the table. They're looking to make it 2 wins from 2 for their senior teams this weekend. Like a Seljak was bumped into there by Luke Warner. He's got no nonsense style about him, and absolute cannon of a left boot. You won't see many hit the ball harder than Luke Warner. Throw in here. Lazinski over his head. Stooping was Farrell. Lazinski just blasted forward, and it's out the back here for Brown. Going to have a run at them here, Declan Brown. Gliding past a couple. He's got Brown Thomas and squares it in. Well done, Jack Bowman. Got in ahead of Callum Brown and saved the day there. As Declan just skipped around Oscar Thomas with almost a consummate ease there.
Yeah, he made that look far too easy, didn't he? I assumed he was going to get penned in there, but just looks like a good mover on the ball.
So, the early threat of the Brown twins looming there. Here's Gutierrez Chavez. Looks to try and switch this one up, but drove it straight to Adam Gorry, who just trod on the ball. Here's Kieran Brown. looking for a big performance, of course, with the FFA Cup draw coming up this week. Who's going to be starting in net in that game for South Hobart? Probably whoever's in the best form. In fancy, both will get opportunities over the coming weeks. Both keepers offer something a little bit different. Here's Iski Van Dorn. Gorry, his customary overlapping run. Just losing his footing there was Luke Warriner. Allowed Gorry back in. Laral, Hamlet. And just, I think he just disrupted the move there a little. I reckon Iski Van Dorn was ready to jump on that one. Hamlet unaware of his presence and just saw him straight into an offside position. So, 5 minutes in. Any chances of note yet? Knights, one threatening moment in attack. Headed by Gorry. Done by Morton. Hamlet. There for Hardwick. Thomas Young strong in the air. Now for Rale. And it falls out to Lakaseljak. Played it to Hamlet. Hamlet turns and shoots. And then look to slide it through for Morton. That's well done, Tom Young. Playing in midfield today, but he's going to offer plenty of defensive protection there. Oh, that was cleverly done by Declan Brown. Just shielded the ball. Gorry didn't quite kill it. Might fall for Naden. In the end, Bowman away. A little uncertain at the back from South, but they deal with the threat well enough. Adam Gorry down the line, worked further afield by Hamlet. Did his winger Van Zorn no favours there. Here's Tyler Harrison. A nice skipper. Just drives it straight out of play, and Declan Brown just puts his arms up in the air, says, come on.
Yeah, you can really see the game plan early from Glenorchy, can't you? It's nothing too sophisticated so far. Just long ball over the top, and they've got the pace to get onto it, so it looks like it could be dangerous.
Yeah, you can see they are trying to use that. And as we said in the pre-game, that's probably why Brown's been picked in net. Probably a wise choice for Morton as Van Dorn looks to skip inside. Found Hamlet. Great first-time ball from Hamlet, offside against young Lakaseljak. Just couldn't quite hold his run. It was a really good first-time ball there from Hammertime. Flag raised out there. And Nesta takes it short for Gutierrez Chavez. Poor ball straight to Havainen. Morton. Back to Thomas. Now the Archer. Adam Gorry. Iski Van Dorn. The Canadian sends it down for Adam Gorry. Gorry swinging the crossing. Back post is Hall and just tried to steer his effort in the end and succeeded in only steering it wide rather harmlessly. But that's very much South Hobart's MO. Adam Gorry charging down the right flank and getting crosses in. Absolutely love to see their fullback overlap. It'll be a big part of the way they attack, as it always is. Nesta short to Hardwick. The youngster back to Tyler Harrison. Callum Brown turning into space. Didn't have quite as much as he thought though, because the French Falcon had just perched himself there and swoops in to see it away. Thomas. Thomas looks up, doesn't like what he sees, and then steers a rather awkward pass for Jack Bowman. Back to Thomas. Eventually pulls the trigger down the line, and slow build up for nothing, and South just looking a little bit off in these opening 10 minutes for mine.
Yeah, you can see the ideas that they're going for in those combinations, but as you say, just a tiny bit off. The timing on a few of them's not quite been there, and the touches, which is really unusual for them.
This one's cut out by Adam Gorry. Iski Van Dorn tries to skip free of Warriner. Warriner did really well though to stop the pass getting in there to Gorry. Slid in, good block. Gorry. To Farrell. Iski Van Dorn. Crosses, steered away by Hardwick. South will continue their probing early skirmishes here. Gorry. for Van Dorn. A wriggle free of Warner. Stuck tight and blocks the cross. Looked on by Naden. Lazinski charged down by Farrell. Young to Brown, and Brown loops it first time over the top for his twin, who had just strayed. Declan Brown. There's plenty of space in behind, and I think that's exactly the type of play we can expect to see plenty of today from the Knights. So those lob balls over the top into the corners for their wingers. They'll hope to suck South Hobart up the field. Oscar Thomas, give it to Morton, drives it, awkwardly dealt with. Now pounced upon by Morton, Lazinski intervening. Now Declan switches up for Nick Naden. In good goal scoring form this year, the former Clarence man. Can't get in behind Gorry though. Lovely LA Matilda sign down there. Still haven't quite shaken off this morning, if I'm being completely honest.
No.
Just high robbery.
Yeah, I have to say, I didn't quite get out of bed until extra time, and what I saw there wasn't great, so I'll assume the rest of the game was called about the same way.
You missed us being absolutely railroaded by a referee, I think.
Yep, that's
not normally one to play that card, but my God. Anyway, Knights have got themselves a corner here. Let's hope we've got a better refereeing display from Tony Peart here today. I'm sure we will. Probably be sacked if he put in a performance like that one this morning. I digress. Corner ball here for Brown of the Declan variety. Bends it in, couldn't take the first man though and steered away. Warner, Brown, quickly drawing a crowd, but keeps hold of the ball somehow. And soldiering behind, Gorry. Seljak and Van Dorn combine. And it's just slipped over the line, although it will be South Hobart's ball. Gorry to Seljak. Straight to his opposite number. Lofted forward by Young, slightly aimless in the end though. Here's Kieran Brown. Drives it out of there. Get it down centrally. Thomas Young. Oh, sloppy touch. Might just have let Hamlet in. Takes a tumble, told to get up. To be fair to Hamlet, he wasn't appealing for a free kick. He just lost his footing. Here's Warner. Hugging the touchline tightly, too tightly as it were. Gorry. Hamlet. Back to Gorry. South recycle it to Brown. Bowman sends it over the top. Straight out of play. With the players are up at the crack of dawn watching the game too, but slightly sluggish opening this one, I reckon.
Yeah, it really hasn't gotten out of first gear yet, has it? Even the time in between these throws, there's a lot of walking, a lot of taking your time, and yeah, really slow start to the game.
No real intensity about it just yet. He's a man who can bring intensity though. It's Hamlet, and they might snap to life here. Goes Darcy Hall driving into the box. It's Darcy Hall. Good save, Dimmy Nesta. Parries it away behind for a corner. And just like that, the game snapping to life. Maybe just need to make a few more comments about the slowness of the game. Here's Adam Gorry. Swings the crossing. Great ball. Oh, Nesta flapping at it. And in the end, volleyed over by Hamlet. Just caught them out with a quick, short corner there, South. I don't think Knights were expecting it. And dangerous ball in. South going to ask a couple of questions for the first time this afternoon. Save from Dimmy Nesta, one he should be making, but dealing with it. All at his feet here, under pressure from Morton. Ooh, Harrison and Toggill both thought the ball was for each other. That let in Darcy Hall. Darcy Hall squares it for Nick Morton. It's Morton! Good save again by Nesta. Parried away again. Two good sharp saves. Gorry bending it in. Hardwick steers it away. Well, that starts to liven things up a little. Again, starting to see some chances. Havainen on the back for Harrison. Farrell. Havainen. Lazinski. Bowman tries to steer it away. I think Gorry's played that one off the ground, and that'll be a South Hobart throw-in. South starting to show a few promising signs here. Chavez away from Morton. Naden to Brown, headed it backwards. Almost made it work though. And then Lazinski trying to dissect the defence, cut out by Havainen. Jack Bowman. And opting to knock it back to the keeper. Here's Oscar Thomas. Chipping it over the top as Thomas. Ben Hamlet giving chase, but all the way by Tyler Harrison. Morton. Oh, clever little back heel trying to find Darcy Hall away from him. Oh, Bowman didn't deal with that at all well, just kind of kneed it forward. It's his side under a little bit of pressure as Thomas heads away. Here's Toggill. Into the middle, Lisky Van Dorn gets there first, played it to Hamlet, good first touch in the turn, and ball through to Nick Morton's a dangerous looking one. Gave Hardwick a problem, and he dealt with it. So, seeing the class of Morton and Van Dorn just starting to stamp themselves on this a little. Adam Gorry. And Dawn back to Gorry. Now Farrell. And Dawn trying to turn Warner. Sends in a dangerous looking ball just over the head of Lakaselyak though. Toggill. Finds Thomas Young. Oscar Thomas. Now Luke Farrell. Back to Lakaselyak. Lakaselyak to Darcy Hall. A little bit of a shirt grab there. Advantage paid, and Hall gave it to Hamlet. Awkward one in the end for Morton. His legs in a funny position there. Spread it wide for Van Dorn. And a throw in as South Hobart really starting to get on top of this one. They're doing all the attacking in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, those passes that we were saying were a little bit off earlier, all starting to hit the target a bit more often here.
Speed of ball movement looking a little bit better. Isky Van Dorn just looking in a spot of bother there. Back to his feet. Should be right to continue, but they've been better since they've just started to play those shorter passes. Big sharp movement off the ball, pass and move type stuff, but they were trying to do that earlier on, just weren't hitting the passes. This one's played to Van Dorn. Gorry goes looking for Lakaselyak. Hardwick did well. Nods it back to Dimi Nesta. It's the head of Gorry. Isky Van Dorn. Oh, that was nice from Van Dorn. Just overhit the ball for Hamlet though. Great initial first touch to take him into space. Skip free. He's starting to become a bit of a threat here for the Knights. Ever present so far in this one, Isky Van Dorn. Naden works it on. Farrell back to Gorry. Coming down this right wing for South Hobart. Van Dorn looking for Gorry's overlap again. It's going to be a Knights throw on this occasion. coming through Havers. Lazinski's been dropping quite deep in this one. Not really playing the target man role we're expecting. They're more looking to use the pace in behind, and he's that aerial target in the middle as Loic Farrell swings this one over the top. Comfortable for Nesta. Nice string some passes together here and give South something to think about. They're pressing quite nicely just at the moment, winning the ball back high up the field. Toghill is looking for Lazinski. Like a lighthouse out there for his team, the big presence. Thomas. Lazinski strong. Now Brown. Oh, sharp from Brown. He drove it straight into Oscar Thomas at short range. Just trying to chip it past him and back his pace, I think. Long again. Hamlet's having to do a lot of work in the air. Brought that down pretty nicely. Hardwick able to clear. Young. Dangerous looking ball. Here's Callum Brown. He's just not been able to get on the ball as of yet, and Jack Bowman does nicely there. And credit to the South defence for the way they've handled the threat of Brown so far, as we look at Declan just sending Havainen off to get a hot dog there.
Hey, you're doing right, and he gets to make sure he comes in, at least to drag a midfielder away, and if he doesn't, you've got to pass. But if he sticks out the middle of the pitch,
Warrener in for Young. Away by Farrell. Nick Morton. Nisky Van Dorn. Hamlet. This touch takes him into space. Just overhit the pass slightly for Darcy Hall. Made it tough for him. Hall up against Toghill. Oh, well read Tyler Harrison. Just got in there. Got a boot in. I'm certain that was Hamlet's ball, but made up the ground really impressively. Sherman urging more from his charges on the sideline. Here's Lazinski to Gutierrez Havers. More ball there from the dual citizen. And Gorry with plenty of time to recover it. Roll it back to Kieran Brown. Hardwick's touch went straight down to Morton, and now Ben Hamlet's threatening to storm in behind. He's one-on-one with Harrison, skips past him. Tom Young across to cover, bailing out. And his captain there was Young. That's what he would do as a defensive midfielder. Hamlet skipped into space, and this has worked on. Adam Gorry is alert to the threat. I think Naden was offside anyway. That's why he pulled up a little. Gorry, like what he saw, retreats, and then just a little touch there, I think, from Brown on Gorry. Give them the relieving free kick. Yeah, towards here, the halfway mark of the first half. Starting to show signs of life after a sluggish opening here. So there's absolutely no one really in the middle of the park for South at the moment. They've got Morton dropping into the space now, but they've got two lines of five there for a moment. Now like a Seljack presenting an option, but they've either got to knock it long or someone's got to drop into midfield, as like a Seljack does now.
Yeah, limiting your options a little bit if there's no one at all in the middle there for that link-up spot.
The defenders just seem to be knocking it around going, oh, there's no option, but the way they're setting up suggests they're playing direct, but not on the same wavelength there, I think. Here's Morton. They looked at their best when he's been able to get on the ball in midfield, and he's trying to make something happen here. He bends this one in towards Hamlet, away by Hardwick. Flicked on by Lazinski. Oh, well done, Callum Brown. Lead Bowman well. Jack Bowman charging that down. Callum Brown across to Nick Naden. Naden running at Gorry. Stroking it through, looking for that runner Brown, but South defence. Look at that one. Here's Iski Van Dorn. Just losing his footing with Hamlet, but pretty well, and then played a lovely little reverse pass for Iski Van Dorn, who charges into the box here. Iski Van Dorn. Hardwick didn't deal with it, cuts it back for Hamlet, and South Hobart open the scoring just like that. And no surprise, it's Iski Van Dorn and Ben Hamlet who combined for the opener. They've been very sharp in attack, those two. They've had some lovely moves, and Hardwick just needed to deal with that. Left the door ajar. Hamlet gets us off and running here.
Yeah, as you say, they probably looked like the two most dangerous players on the park, and it took a little bit of luck there for Van Dorn to get the bounce back to his feet, but everything around that was pretty clinical from South and exactly what you'd expect from them, really.
And Hamlet gets the goal. And his first chance is a tap-in, but I've been really impressed with his hold-up play and his linking with his midfield in this one. His first touch to take it into space has been so intelligent in the first 25 minutes.
And as you said, he's been doing a lot of that work in the air, which isn't necessarily what you think of when you first think of Ben Hamlet, but he's done it really well.
He's had a good start to this game, and the rewards you get. You toil hard, and then the chance comes, and it's a tap-in. And boy, is Iski Van Dorn in some serious form down that right wing. He's causing major problems for Luke Warren right now. And got the better of Hardwick on that goal. Some fortune certainly with the deflection. Sitting perfectly for him. And South with the lead. And that might just get their tails up a little. Hamlet can't get on the end of this one. Hardwick to Harrison. Gutierrez Chavez dropping deep. And then coughs it straight up to Iski Van Dorn. Like a Seljack, skewed it a little, but still found Morton. Wants to shape onto his right foot. Tom Young well aware of that, and then cut out by Tyler Harrison. Oscar Thomas away from Callum Brown, who's been well held thus far. Van Dorn. Nick Morton spies Hamlet in a one-on-one. That's where he heads. Straight into the grateful hands of the goalkeeper. So yeah, if I'm South, if I say Ben Hamlet, just one man marking him, I'll be trying to hit him as he's beating his man repeatedly, like a Seljack. He'll cut out by Hardwick. Like a Seljack straight again into the hands of the keeper.
Youngie, give it to Youngie. He's got so much space, Jimmy.
Darcy Hall. Vinen. Hall again. Iski Van Dorn. Van Dorn draws the foul. Clattered again. It's one way of stopping it. About the only way of stopping him so far. Warner just didn't quite like that. Wasn't going to let him get past. Good Harry Chavez. Just in case the foul hadn't been blown, was not going to let him past him.
Just in case they thought about giving the advantage there.
So this should present a good crossing opportunity for Adam Gorry. Morton also hovering over it. South have worked their way on top after a reasonable start from the Knights. It's been South firmly in the ascendancy. Adam Gorry. Looking for Morton. Well away, Gutierrez Chavez. Another chance for Gorry though. Oscar Thomas with the header. Just over the top there. The big giraffe getting his noggin to it and wasn't too far away here. Adam Gorry picking him out. Lovely left-footed cross this on the non-preferred. It's always tough work from so far out. I imagine Nesta would have had it covered, but watches it sail over the crossbar. Harrison to Young. Togel. Naden. Loves that little move where he lets the ball run and turns. Seem to do that frequently. Toghill launches it to Lazinski off the shoulder of Thomas and then chipped over the top again. Kieran Brown will get there. Just able to really keep a hold of the ball at the moment, the Knights. Stringing the passes together. Gorry. Iski Van Dorn. That was a poor ball from Van Dorn, inviting danger because here's Nick Naden. Pounces on it and looks to have a run at the defence. Runs straight into Toby Havinen. Held him up momentarily, then worked to Lazinski. Out to Brown, shipping it back in. Away by Farrell. And cleared decisively by Morton. Hamlet nods into space. And Harrison sees it out of play.
I think what's interesting for the Knights is they still haven't had any clear-cut chances, but they have looked a bit better when they're trying to play it shorter. I think they just need to maybe not look for the long ball every time and try to use the pace in other ways down the wings.
So they'll try and make something happen here. Brown knocks it back to Warner, looking to get forward the fullback, and he's brought down by Farrell. An advantage played. Young, back to Brown. Swings it out to Nick Naden, who's just switched flanks for the time being, and he sends a cross in. It's poor one, really, on the right foot, but needs to do better. As right now, starting to get a bit of a move together there, Knights.
Yeah, and that was a little bit more through the middle rather than just straight down the wing, and still using their strengths out wide, but finding a bit of a different way to get there.
Better delivery than that ultimately as Naden heads it centrally for Arl. Wisely just nods it back to his keeper. Tick towards the half-hour mark here at Darcy Street. South Hobart pick up another 3 points in their pursuit of the Strikers, who they meet next weekend up at Valley Road. A rematch of the Cup final. It's going to be a massive fixture. Van Dorn looking for Morton, couldn't quite find him. Esther just rolls it into the path of Harrison, who'll carry out here. Declan Brown to Gutierrez. Chavez. Coughed up Iski Van Dorn. Broke that one up, and then Darcy Hall looking to use his strength and his frame there to turn. He certainly bulked up upon his return. Bigger than he did when he departed our shores. And just stayed on the line there for Nick Naden. Swinging it in the Brown direction, but Gorry cutting everything out so far. That was a pretty sloppy error. Declan Brown to Callum. Twins looking to combine here, but there's plenty of South Hobart shirts out there to deal with them. 4 immediately swarm to the area. It's out of play. There's no real fluidity to the Knights game just now. Some good signs early on, but South, much like Devonport second half last week, have just wrestled control of this one. Starting in the midfield. Van Dorn. He's skipping past defenders at will. Morton scoops one out to Darcy Hall. Darcy Hall tried to get the better of Soghill, ended up playing a pretty good ball for Havine, and back to Darcy Hall as his shots charge down. Right side of Harrison. Deflects behind for a corner. Shot block that. Havine, and lovely little ball this. Well done, Harrison. Was gaining a bit of steam as he hit that one. As Iski Van Dorn has some room to cross. Goes near post and comfortably gathered in the end there by Dimi Nesta. Young through midfield. Oscar Thomas working back. Vinen. More than he could chew, and in the end Nick Naden just rather getting rid of Havinen. The arms were a bit of a giveaway of the foul there, I think. Yeah, reach and grab, you're always struggling to get away with it.
Whenever you see the arm up around the neck, it's probably not a good sign.
So Darcy Hall couldn't get past Toghill. Pounced upon by Morton. About bending across him, but opts to pass to Farrell instead. Van Dorn lets it run for Gorry. Tracking back was Brown. Kevin Brown chipping it forward. Lakaselje cuts it out. Can he keep it in just? There's a 1-2 with Van Dorn, and then expecting the runner Gorry played it full, but none was forthcoming. Lazinski. Farrell. Van Dorn. Adam Gorry. Luke Farrell turning, bending one straight onto the head of Toghill. Gutierrez Chavez. Ooh, a Falcon on the French Falcon there. Really his nickname. Just getting clobbered at close range. How will this spin? Fightingly for Warrener. Tacked it well, and then decides to nod it out of play. 84 minutes. Just out, ticked by here at the Theatre of Dreams. The hosts a goal to the good, courtesy of Ben Hamlet. Snapping home. Some nice work from Iski Van Dorn. Yeah, might combine again here, although Warrener across to shut it down. Throw taken quickly to Hamlet, turning sharply, and then I'm not sure if that was a shot. He's playing with confidence. So not a really overhit cross, or one of the more ambitious shots you'll ever see.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one's the worst option, honestly, for him. Neither of them look too good, do they?
We'll forgive him that, given the way he's been playing, but so particularly likely to make something happen. Hardwick. And the forward press of South just winning the ball back. Morton, flicked it behind like a Seljak. Cross to Van Dorn, who's got Adam Gorry in support. This time opts to drift inside, and then one to the back post where Darcy Hall was lurking, and Tolkill puts it behind for the corner. Big 3 points up for grabs here today. South Hobart including today 11 points adrift of Devonport, but they do have 2 games in hand, and of course playing them next week, so firmly in the mix as Morton puts it in away by Naden. Warrener thumps it up to Brown, and now perhaps a chance on the break here. Just played that far too early, Declan Brown. Had a 3-on-3 developing and just rather needlessly chipped it forward. Just a little bit of composure lacking there, I think. Throw taken. The one by Jack Bowman. He's having himself a fine game for South Hobart today in place of Hugh Ludford. It was a poor ball straight to Gutierrez Chavez, who slides in ahead of Lakaselyak. Lazinski, I think, is a midfielder pretty much at this point. Levinen away from Naden. Toghill, take the throw. Naden the target. Skips free, but Vinen's goal side of him. Brown. Toghill steered it to Brown, off the Declan variety, across Chavez. Toghill. Sloppy pass. Just letting in Ben Hamlet. Now South want to push up the field. Force them all the way back to Nesta. Good composure though. Gutierrez Chavez. How can they use this one wisely? It's a good ball to Lazinski. Lazinski goes looking for Brown, and again it's just overhit. Down by Kieran Brown. Here's Adam Gorry. Van Dorn lets it run. And that one is rolled out of play for a ninth throw in. Lazinski. Gorry. To Alex Lazinski, trying to impose himself on the contest, the big man here. It's to Declan Brown. And then Gutierrez Chavez passed it straight to Nick Morton. Ben Hamlet. Playing Darcy Hall here. Gives him a chance. Toghill slid in and won it decisively. And has even managed to play it off of Darcy Hall. So very nicely done by Matthias Toghill here.
Yeah, he definitely all had the pace advantage there, but really good challenge there to potentially save a goal. I think Hall was in there if he didn't get the foot in.
Yeah, one that, or even if he doesn't quite time it, it's going to be a penalty. And executed it to perfection there, Matthias Toghill. Couple climb, and one of them was a little premature there. Probably a free kick. Jump before it was near. Brown. Warner to Gutierrez. Farrell sweating on him and wins it back again. We've done so well at that today, South. Winning the ball high up the pitch. Ben Hamlet. Spied the runner, Gorry. Couldn't quite pick him out. Hamlet again. Coughs it up to Thomas Young. And now perhaps a chance for Knights back the other way. They've got a 4-on-4 developing, but Havinen again snuffs it out. And they've been pretty good in defence when they've needed to be. Again, Hamlet trying to find the run of Gorry, but shut down. Young to Harrison.
That's the ball. Hold it up, hold it up.
Lozinski
Good, Diego.
presenting the full chest again. So bring it down the chest, Lozinski. Feature of his game. Nicely done by Brown. Gutierrez Chavez. Broken up. Thomas Young. Cross to Toghill. It's Toghill. Should be dealt with by Brown. Oh, he's fumbled it. But the free kick, as is so often the case, blown in favour of the goalkeeper. Lozinski done for just tunnelling him there a little, I think. This is why Graham Wright this time I think was probably favoured in the cup final. Stronger in the air. Seemed to get a fair piece of the keeper there, Lozinski. And it's pretty rare you don't see the decision go the keeper's way in that instance. Usually afforded the protection. Darcy Hall did pretty well to shake off a foul there from Toghill. Good advantage paid. Here's Hamlet. Hamlet. Away. Well, Gutierrez Chavez. Jack Bowman. And reading the play really intelligently today. Farrell to Laka Seljak. Darcy Hall, first time ball, just over hit from Morton. Had he sprung on it, he might have got there. Perhaps not quite expecting it. Nick Naden. It's past to Vinen, but now Laka Seljak's in to help out. Done a really good job when Knights players have tried to take on South Hobart players in this one. So often the South tackler has been the one winning the ball. This one's swung in, whereas I think South have been a bit more successful at beating the man when they've opted to take them on. This man in particular, Esky Van Dorn, making things happen for Al. To Darcy Hall. Hall spies the run of Gorry. And can he get that? Gorry off the woodwork! And still by fall for Hamlin, he's missed! Oh, skewed it wide. You'd have put your house on him scoring.
We were
directly
behind that, and I honestly was just about writing it down already when I saw that it was Hamlet who had the ball. He had so much space to look at there into an open net.
So first it was Gorry from the tight angle, just fell out the back to him. Did well to get the shot away here. It went high over the top. Oh, it's agonising from Gorry. Inches away, and then it just seemed like Hamlet had the entire net to just roll this into. No one on the line, keeper there, just needed to roll it in. And he finds the side netting. So a real let off there for the Glenorchy Knights. And Hamlet doesn't miss them too often. There's Esky Van Dorn. Sends it in looking for Morton. Narrowly you might make a bit more of that miss, but after last week it doesn't seem quite as bad as a couple we had. As Thomas Young works it to Farrell, back to Adam Gorry.
I think he's pretty safe in the miss of the season still, isn't he?
I think that's fairly wrapped up. Last Friday night, I suspect. As Warren will take the throw in the shadows of half-time. I reckon Knights would take 1-0 heading into the break. They had a good few minutes out of the blocks, but since then they've really been hemmed in. It's been all South Hobart. And probably fortunate not to be trailing by more than 1-0. Gorry smashing the woodwork, and then Hamlet missing the follow-up, but they've had all the play. Nesta finds Toghill, lets it run. Darcy Hall closed him down. Here's Darcy Hall again. Oh, what a ball from Hall. Morton's going to beat the keeper to it. It's Nick Morton from the angle, and Nesta comes up big. Great piece of goalkeeping. Covered the angle well. Left the chip open. Morton trying to dink one. And a good save in the end here. Very good goalkeeping. A couple of good saves he's had to make in this half. How about the ball from Darcy Hall, though? Just took the defence completely out of the equation. And off his line. Covered the angle. Morton didn't quite get enough loft on that one. He sends in the corner near post, and, well, he's probably lucky to get another look at that. Wasn't his best work. Straight at Gutierrez Chavez. I do love that near post corner, South. And returning to the well on that one pretty frequently. Morton goes in, away by Harrison. That'll be another corner. Aerial bombardment continued. Looks like Esky Van Dorn across to take this one. They'll need to be a little bit more alert to the short corner, and they are sending 2 across after they were caught out earlier in the game by 1. So it's going to be Gorry looking for Farrell, away by Harrison. Fell to Van Dorn, just stood one up to the back post there, trying to chip one in there, but too much on it from the Calgary Fly. Continued his rich vein of form as we have another look at this Adam Gorry chance. Oh, so close from the angle, and then Hamlet. Well, just sliced it, I think, was the problem.
Yeah, it looked like he got himself a little bit off balance, and that was enough to just throw it off a tiny bit.
Rather than just finessing it home with the side of the foot, just more came off the top of the foot there and just sliced underneath it, and that took it into the side netting. And that will do for the first half. No need for extra time here. We've going to just go straight into the sheds, and to be fair, I can't remember any meaningful stoppages, so fair enough.
No, probably about right.
So half time, and South Hobart a goal to the good thanks to Ben Hamlet. Probably should be 2 goals to the good. A big chance to double the advantage missed. But Knights remain within striking distance. They're going to need to improve in the second half, but they've got some quality out there who could be a factor with their pace late in the game. He was the goal. Ski Van Dorn, slight element of fortune. But he's been really impressive down the right flank, and Hamlet leading the line with aplomb. Buries that one. He wasn't going to miss that. So that is where we stand at half-time. What's the shot count at half-time, actually?
I was just about to say we've had 11 shots for South Hobart and none for Glenorchy.
Yep, that sounds about right. Knights had a good moment early on when they crossed one in, but really it has been all one-way traffic, and they can consider themselves very fortunate to still be just a goal down as we head to the break. So we'll be back in around about 10 minutes time with the second half. James Sherman has got some work to do in the night sheds, and they need to change things up here. Brown gliding past a couple. He's got Brown Thomas and squares it in. Well done, Jack Bowman. Got in ahead of Callum Seljak. Played it to Hamlet. Hamlet turns and shoots, and then look to slide it through for Morton. That's well done, Tom Young. Playing in midfield today. Plenty of defensive protection there. Oh, that was cleverly done by Declan Brown. Just shielded the ball. In. Sends it down for Adam Gorry. Gorry swinging the cross in. Back post is Hall, and just tried to steer his effort in the end and succeeded in only. See, now it's Hamlet, and they might snap to life here. Goes Darcy Hall driving into the box. It's Darcy Hall. Good save, Dimmy Nesta. Parries it away. You just need to make a few more comments about the slowness of the game. Here's Adam Gorry. Swings the crossing. Great ball. Oh, Nesta flapping at it. And in the end, volleyed over by Hamlet. Just caught them out with a quick short call. Harrison and Tokyo both thought the ball was for each other. That let in Darcy Hall. Darcy Hall squares it for Nick Morton. It's Morton! Good save again by Nesta. Parried away again. Morton. Clever little back heel trying to find Darcy Hall away from him. And ball through to Nick Morton's a dangerous looking one. Gave Hardwick a problem and dealt with it. Seeing the class of his legs in a funny position there. Spread it wide for Van Dorn. And the throw in is South Hobart really starting to get on top. Now Brown. Oh, sharp from Brown. Drove it straight into Oscar Thomas in short range. Just trying to chip it to Morton. And now Ben Hamlet's threatening to storm in behind. He's one-on-one with Harrison. Skips past him. Tom Young across to cover. Bailing out. Pulled up a little. Gorry, like what he saw. Retreats, and then just a little touch there, I think, from Brown on Gorry. Naden running at Gorry. Striking through, looking for that runner Brown, but South defence. Pass for Iski Van Dorn, who charges into the box here. Iski Van Dorn. Hardwick didn't deal with it. Cuts it back for Hamlet. And South Hobart open the scoring just like that. And no surprise, it's Iski Van Dorn and Ben Hamlet who combined for the open-up. They've been very sharp in attack, those two. They've had some lovely moves. And Nick Morton spies Hamlet in a one-on-one. That's where he heads. Straight into the grateful hand. And Dorn draws the foul. Close it again. It's one less Harvez. Another chance for Gorry though. Oscar Thomas with the header. Just over the top there. It's out to Nick Namus. Just switch flanks for the time being, and he sends it cross in. It's poor one really on the right foot, but needs to do better. Tried to get the better of Toghill. Ended up playing a pretty good ball for Hobart, and back to Darcy Hall as his shots charged down. Right side of Harrison. Deflecty Van Dorn has some room to cross. Goes near post and comfortably gathered in the end there. Well, Dimmy Nesta. Levinan. More than he could chew, and in the end McNaden just rather getting taking it quickly to Hamlet, turning sharply, and then I'm not sure if that was a shot. He's playing with confidence. Gorry in support. This time opts to drift inside, and then one to the back post where Darcy Hall was lurking, and Tolkill puts it behind for the call. Playing Darcy Hall here, gives him a chance. Tolkill slid in, won it decisively, and even cross to Toghill. So it's Toghill. Should be dealt with by Brown. Oh, he's fumbled it. But the free kick has himself and the case blown in favour of the Gold Coast today. Faral to Laka Seljak. Darcy Hall, first time ball, just over hit from Morton. So had he sprung on him. And can he get that guy off the woodwork? And still by fault for Hamlin, he's missed. Oh, skewed it wide. You'd have put your house on him scoring.
We were
side netting only.
Directly behind that, and
Darcy Hall closed him down. Here's Darcy Hall again. Oh, what a ball from Hall. Morton's going to beat the keeper to it. It's Nick Morton from the angle, and Nesta comes up big. Great piece of goalkeeping. Cover the angle well.
Yeah, we'll have a second half. Fancy turn. I mean, we can go on if you want. It's worth changing stuff. Again?
Tony, I told you not to.
Rip it from.
There's a red card coming in.
Just shame movement. Come on, guys, get him up. Should be accepted.
And we're, I think, back. Right, well, I think this is coming. There we go. I think it's now coming through. Anyway, back for the second half here at Darcy Street. And South Hobart with a 1-0 lead over the Glenorchy Knights. Probably should be more, but the Knights, look, they're still in this game despite the fact they have not fired a shot. And that's quite a literal sense. They haven't got a shot off today, but South have only converted one, and they've left the door ajar if Knights can improve. Although I've got to say the highlight of my half-time break then was definitely our referee today, Tony Perth, just approaching a youngster with an AFL ball out there and just giving him a football and telling him to just take that one elsewhere. Sure, a good response from the crowd too.
Yeah, look, we've got to start recruiting early, don't we? Can't let them get carried away with anything else.
The code wars are alive and well in here at Darcy Street, it would seem. So back to the battle at hand, and South will really want to find that second goal early in this half and try and put it to bed. This is a dangerous opponent to leave around, despite the fact they've not really looked all that threatening in attack. Today, the Knights, the players they've got out there, are capable of pulling a rabbit out of the hat and just finding a goal from nothing. So South need to take one of the chances they've been creating, get that 2-goal buffer. Despite any personnel changes out there for either team during the break, looks like as you were. As Van Dorn works this to Lakaseljak. Lakaseljak goes in looking for Hamlet. Iski Van Dorn lurking. The Knights defence able to steer it away. Young. Brown. Young. Took it straight into the path of Farrell. Warrener. Straight to Toby Havainen, who nods it into space for Darcy Hall. And Thomas just pulls out the lob wedge. Somehow stays in and falls out for Gutierrez Javez, who finds Toghill. There you go. Rolls this one back to Hardwick, and under pressure turned it straight over to Van Dorn, but just a little overzealous in his defensive efforts there was Ben Hamlet. Free kick into Hardwick. So moving quickly to Tyler Harrison. Use this one in the Lazinski direction, presenting up at it. Well done, Van Dorn. Hasn't neglected his defensive duties this afternoon. A real live wire down the right in attack, but it's tracked back when required. And a lovely takedown there from Brown. Thomas to Van Dorn. Combining with Hamlet. Lakaseljak sends it out for Darcy Hall. 1-on-1 with Matisse Toghill. Got a good foot in there, Toghill. Farrell. Morton. Morton works it to Hamlet. Hamlet trying to shake free of his marker. Toghill came in and punches it behind for the corner. Just thought for a moment he was going to shake free. Morton ratchet off a shot here. Morton works it to Hamlet. Hamlet trying to shake free. Finds a way to buy space from the centre back so well with those little touches. Toghill was arriving on that occasion. As Morton sends this one in, punched away by Nesta. Havinen to Iski Van Dorn. Van Dorn. Lazinski. Oh, Darcy Hall pounces upon it. Darcy Hall cutting into the box. And plenty of Knights bodies back there. Able to clear it away, but the attack continues through Van Dorn. Iski Van Dorn. Running at Lazinski. Lazinski doing well defensively there, the big fella. And before that whole ball crosses, he's able to smack it away only so far as Farrell. Now this time a little more decisively away onto the head of Naden. And Naden with a great little header to take him past Havinen. They've got a 3-on-3 up here ahead. And again, just an overhit pass. There's been a few times today where they've broke with 3-on-3, 4v4, and almost every time it's just been a poor pass and it's not developed into anything.
Yeah, it's that final delivery is just not even giving them a chance to get a sider on the goals, has it? Whether it's crossing in the air or on the ground, it's just not quite right.
Darcy Hall bends one in, looking for Van Dorn, and Warrener has to steer this one away from the Canadian. Behind again. For another corner. How many is that for South today?
7 now.
7th of the day, so it's alert to the short option now. They're putting 2 men. 2 men short. So Gorry, near post, Morton lets it roll, and then wide of the mark from Oscar Thomas. With the left foot, swung his boot at it, but there was no direction on it. Wide of the back post, and the chances continue to mount for South. It remains 1-0. And an empty corner off the net to head it into, but a pretty tough one with turning on the left with a lot of bodies in front of him. And Farrell nods it down. Here's Chavez. Back heel from Lazinski. He's Hamlet. Morton. Under-hit ball there, trying to find Van Dorn. Just undercooked it straight to Callum Brown. Gave it to his brother. Oh, one back by Nick Morton. And Morton plays it to Hamlet. First time ball. Maybe just need to hold on to that one. Tyler Harrison now. Sliding it through for the dangerous Brown. It hasn't been his day. And away goes Kieran Brown. And Dawn had 2 to beat in the air. Like a Seljak. Gorry. Lovely move there from Gorry. Now it's Iski Van Dorn. Looks to take on Brown. Still going Iski Van Dorn. And Warrener stretching to put it out. Great tackle that from Nick Morton. Pretty impressive in the engine room today, the Morthog. Morton. Warrener again steering it behind for a corner. Trying to get in behind the fullbacks today.
Darcy, get you one.
They take it short. Gorry. Way by Young. Gutierrez Chavez to Brown. Sliding in with Havinen. Luke Warrener. Long he goes. Havinen competing with Brown. Jack Bowman won't get away from Declan Brown, then chipped over the top into space for Callum Brown. He's got 2 in the middle. He drives it in looking for them. Havinen only as far as Young. Didn't at all make the contact he was looking for there. It's sat for him. And on the non-preferred, he lashes it well wide. Move here from Knights rather, as Brown in the cross in. And just a little room at the top of the box. Charge towards the ball. Brown again. Warrener. The Knights need to make something happen here, but Morton again winning the ball back. Iski Van Dorn played it well off Warrener. He's had a fine game, the Canadian. Alex Walter just walking past on the comeback trail from injury. They'll certainly look forward to having him back out there, as it looks like Jake Stewart is coming on for Alex Lazinski. So even more pace up top now for the Knights. Looks like he's going to go into a central striking role, and maybe Brown will drop in a little deeper. Sherman shuffles his deck a little and change things up. Morton back to Gorry. Bowman to Van Dorn. Risky Van Dorn charging down the right, Adam Gorry. This one almost bouncing over Toghill, not it straight to Farrell. Darcy Hall. Hall wants to shape onto the right. Squares it back for Morton. Nick Morton couldn't wriggle free of Brown, and now Knights will look to counter. Jake Stewart's first involvement. Advantage paid. Oh, it might spill out for Callum. It's Callum Brown, big chance here. 1-on-1 with the keeper. Oh, opted to square it instead. Still a danger there. Jake Stewart with a great chance. Blocked by Havainen. Oh, my words. The Knights have not had a look all day. They just had two glorious ones and could not find the goal. And South let off the hook there. And that is why they need to find this second goal. Left the door ajar. That should have been 1-1 really.
I just can't believe Brown didn't pull the trigger there. After seeing his finishing last week from pretty much an identical spot, I just thought that he was going to hit that and it was going to go into the back of the net.
Yeah, bizarre decision this for mine. Callum Brown in on goal. We saw the two rockets he launched last week, just put the left through it instead. I think he was just trying to sit it there for Naden to run onto. Wrong decision. Oscar Thomas heads away. Oh, not dealt with by Morton. It's starting to get more of a foothold in this second half. Hamlet and Van Dorn combining. Hamlet, great ball for Morton. Back to Van Dorn. Van Dorn. Well, it was a pretty ugly finish to what was a lovely flowing move.
Yeah, we'll just forget about that shot at the end of it, I think, and remember all the stuff before it.
There's some lovely build-up from the back. The one-touch passing, fantastic from South here. Morton did well, and then Van Dorn just lifted the head a little, I think. Shanked it well wide of the mark. Farrell up against Young. Young did well, but Farrell realised where it landed. Hardwick scrapping away with Hamlet. Stretching here to clear, but cleared it straight to Darcy Hall. Darcy Hall driving past to Toghill. Darcy Hall still going here. Beats another one in Hardwick. And in the end, Tyler Harrison came across to save the day. Warren, I thought, was going to get a free kick. Play allowed to continue as he walks the byline, and Hardwick recovered well. And they hold on, but Iski Van Dorn finds the ball at his feet again. Out to Nick Morton. The Morthog looking for Laka Seljak over his head. Away by Toghill. Charge down, and that will be a goal kick. So, to end here, the last couple of minutes, as we look at Darcy Hall just driving past defenders. Nutmeg there on Hardwick. That's the coverage in the form of Tyler Harrison. Talked about a lack of pace in the opening 20 minutes of this game. That's certainly not the case anymore. Intensity's really picked up in this one. Actually, at the start of the second half, Jake Stewart. Cross to Young, back to Stewart. Stewart get the cross in. They by Bowman. They are starting to look a little more positive here, the Knights. Some more reason for optimism. They're fortunate to still be in this game, really, but can they seize that opportunity? Stewart again. In the end, slipped, hit a pretty tame cross and went straight to Thomas, and it'll be a corner. Callum Brown to take. Brown to the back stick, and his namesake Kieran was scrambling. Claws it behind for another corner. Backpedaling there, the young keeper. This one may well have just been landing in the back corner. to get a hand to it. So it's going to be Declan taking this one. There's the short variation with Callum. Good one too. Sea of legs there. South able to clear it away. Iski Van Dorn out in front of Darcy Hall. And wait for some support to arrive and then just backs Iski Van Dorn in a foot race against Luke Warriner. Warriner always leading to the ball. Clears it away for a throw in. It works, little routine this one. Turning free of Laka Seljak and punching in a pretty dangerous looking ball. Van Dorn wants Darcy Hall. Oh, well done, Darcy Hall. Gets a hold of it. Scored a cross in there. McMorton! His shot was blocked. Up in the air. Nesta eventually claimed. And the Knights defence holding firm.
I'd say Hall's looked really dangerous every time he's been on the ball. I think he's been too strong to be knocked off it, and he's using it really well as well.
Yeah, it's a good point you make about the strength. He really does look a physical powerhouse out there. The defenders are just kind of bouncing off him.
Yeah, he's doing some serious damage by the looks of it a few times when they've gone down and not gotten up straight away.
So Nick Norton, South with the 1-0 lead, but they don't feel entirely secure in this match just now. Need to find a second goal. Their play is surely deserved. He's Young, out wide for Naden. Naden trying to find Declan Brown. Luke Farrell gets in the way. Well done, Luke Farrell. Just drops it off for Darcy Hall, who again shows that good strength. Overhit his pass for Farrell though. Thomas rising high, nodded it straight to Naden. Like a Seljak intervenes. Ball always favouring Warriner. Up and under onto the head of Gorry. Now like a Seljak. Beats out Brown. Fell for Young. Sliding in was Morton. Got the ball. Good challenge. Hardwick runs it away. New challenger starting to fly now. The intensity really lifting. Hamlet can't get past Hardwick. Iski Van Dorn just got clipped there as he skipped around him, and that free kick in a good spot here for South. Looks like Adam Gorry to take. Gorry to the back stick. Oscar Thomas was there, away from him. Lakaselyak won't sit for him. Brown scrapping in defence. Nick Morton out to Darcy Hall. Darcy Hall manufactures a cross, almost found its way to Lakaselyak. And again, just pumped on out of there by the Knights defence. Good jukes in the crowd there. Here's Iski Van Dorn. Van Dorn for Hamlet. Wants it down looking for Lakaselyak. Nesta comes out to collect. Nesta finds Callum Brown. Stewart turning and fouled in the process. Just angled his body cleverly there, Jake Stewart, through the contact. So Callum Brown standing over the dead ball. Past the hour mark, South holding sway. The Knights have looked a little bit more threatening in this half. Brown was waiting for a whistle. He had permission to go. He takes the shot on. Just trying to catch Kieran Brown out. It was always ambitious. Just floated safely into his arms in the end, but just spied the keeper cheating off his line a little, and don't mind trying to catch him out.
I was going to say, I don't mind the thought there. Would have been good if he'd pulled it off.
Probably needed to be a slightly lower kind of flat drive type approach though.
Yeah, it just drifted in and gave him a bit too much of a chance to get back into position.
Just gave him the chance, as you say, but didn't mind the intent. Always up for the audacious here, a slice of cheese. The more audacious the efforts, the better, as far as we're concerned, as Morton nods this one on. Harrison coming through, fell back to the Mortog. Broken up. Tyler Harrison. Gutierrez Chavez. Adam Gorey nods it to Whiskey Van Dorn. Now he's going to run out this game. He's very fit, Whiskey Van Dorn, but he's going to want to be. He's covered some serious territory today. And running hard. So we're going to have a South Hobart substitution. Looks like Berezanski is set to be introduced here. And so he started in the cup final, and he's going to replace Darcy Hall. 63 minutes today. The most he's played in a match since his return from injury, continuing that process. And I think sub there more precautionary than anything, just not wanting to push the envelope too far with a player coming back from injury, because he's been playing pretty well.
I was going to say, from what they've seen from him today, I think they'd definitely be hoping to have him fit and firing for the rest of the season.
And Knights also making a change as Samuel James replaces Gutierrez Chavez. So swaps on both touchlines there. So certainly with that Devonport game looming next week, wise to not take unnecessary risks. They'd love another goal, but they do still have this game within their keeping. Should be able to see it out without Darcy Hall. The Knights have just had a little bit more of a threat about them in this second half. And it's games like this, I think, that really just proves the stupidity of the 2-goal lead being a dangerous lead for mine, because it would be a lot less dangerous than this 1-0 lead, Dooley.
Yeah, I think South would definitely feel a lot better if they had the extra little buffer there.
As Nick Norton turns, and he'll pick out Adam Gorey with a great pass. Gorey's cross for Berezanski just on. Now it's Laka Seljak, but the ball had gone out as Adam Gorey crossed. Just regardless of the excitement there.
I thought Gorey did a pretty good job of chasing that down, but obviously not quite quick enough.
Yeah, linesman obviously in a much better spot than we are.
Yeah.
Look pretty good live, but we'll back their judgment in as Luke Farrell. To Laka Seljak over the top. Is Hamlet in behind here? It's Ben Hamlet turning onto the left. It's Hamlet. Shot blocked. Still going Hamlet. Good challenge, Hardwick. He's defended well today, young Hardwick. Here's Van Dorn. Back to Hamlet. Hamlet to Van Dorn. To the byline. Heavy touch. And they close down that near post again, the Knights. They're probing away South Hobart. They're knocking on the door, but holding firm for the time being. And blocked away. Thomas. Chips it to Gorey. Gorey. Pressure from Brown, but kept a hold of it. Went a 1-2 with Van Dorn, then rolled it in towards Hamlet, combining with a Canadian here. Berezanski has just taken his eye off the ball, I think, and they roll straight through. So the best start for the youngster there since coming on.
A bit of an unfortunate first touch off the bench.
If it was a first touch.
True, yeah, true. Mate, we'll ignore that one and give him a second chance.
This one might be his first touch.
There we go.
Rolls it back to Havina. Young Sam Berezanski, 16 years of age, as Bowman punched that one straight to the path of James. Getting a foot in was Laka Seljak, and they'll be brought back for the foul. So over the halfway point of this second half, still 1-0. Ben Hamlet's goal, the lone marker. Not through a lack of chances, as it remained 1-0. Here's Young. Oh, robbed of it by the Morthog. Picked his pocket and sends it across to Whiskey Van Dorn. Van Dorn sauntering forward here. He looks up and puts the cross in by full for Berezanski! Off the bench and onto the score sheet. How's that for a substitution from the Silver Fox? Berezanski comes on, and with one of his very first touches, he made pretty good contact this time.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to remember that dodgy first touch anymore, because no doubt about that one. Absolutely buried that shot after some more really hard gut running from Van Dorn.
Well, I think he was slightly unlucky not to get the best on ground in the cup final for Whiskey Van Dorn. He got my 3 votes, but I think he's headed for 3 votes here today. He's been superb. Puts that one on a platter, 2 assists. And Sam Berezanski, the impact substitute, comes on, thumps it home, and South get the goal that, well, they've deserved, to be frank. They've created chance after chance. What's the shot tally at the moment?
That takes it 15-3.
15-3. And a well-deserved second. Esky Van Dorn coming into some serious touches, the Canadian. He's playing at a higher level than he even was last year. I think this is the best we've seen from Esky Van Dorn over the past month. So why South were so keen to get him across with those injuries to key wingers like Walker and Hall. He's come in and guided them to a cup triumph, and he sends this one too far. Too much on that one from the Calgary Flyer on this occasion. And this one over the top, but his arrival has been a real key for South Hobart this year as we have a look at his second assist of the day. Head up. Bang, Berezanski, great attack. Samuel James just a little flat-footed, and Berezanski came in from the blind side and made no doubt. Good header by Laka Seljak. Morton knocks it past Hardwick. Hardwick recovered well. Chipped out to Brown. Jack Bowman. To Brown. James to Brown. Dances on the ball momentarily, then sends it to Naden. McNaden. And he find a way back into the game for the Knights here. Rolls it for Declan Brown. Oh, just eluded Thomas Young. You want to get him to his right foot here. He shapes to shoot and tries to pick out the far post, but was never working back enough. We're wide there from Young. I just reckon a real sense of relief over the punters here. Darcy Street with that second goal, breathing a little easier now.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's feeling a little bit more secure in that lead, but as you say, 2-goal lead, you never know. Can be a bit of a dangerous one, but
I said the opposite, Dooley. I said that's rubbish. No, I think the theory behind that is that you take the foot off the pedal a little bit and stop doing the things that got you into the position.
yeah, and I can't really see South Hobart doing that, honestly.
No, I don't think so. The way they've been playing is a grab of the arm, penalised Hamlet there. There's Dimmy Nesta. Let him sim. Back to Toghill. Ending it forward for Stewart. Competed pretty well up against the giraffe Oscar Thomas. Here's Luke Farrell. Berezanski. Farrell. Like I said, yes, hasn't missed a beat in midfield again today. Here's Esky Van Dorn. Van Dorn driving one into the back of his own man, Berezanski. And the shot blocking pretty adept there from the Knights, getting the bodies in those shooting lanes and doing a good job there.
Yeah, I think as much as South Hobart have dominated most of the play, I think the Knights' defence have worked pretty hard and done as well as you can against some of these players to shut down the chances.
Great block, that one, from Samuel James. So would have tested Dimmy Nesta. Made good contact, young Berezanski, who's produced a lively little cameo off the bench here. Flicked on by Young. Stretching was Gorry. Just took it away from Brown. Warner with a long throw in. Thomas trying to repel. Brown with the body work pretty good. His brother came in there, trot on the ball a little, and then it was fairly aimless, I think, from Luke Warner. A very optimistic shout for a corner, but given he was running the opposite direction while he called for it,
Yeah,
the most believable.
Too confident, no.
No, I think it was more habit than anything. They just put their hands up. And he realised how much of a stretch that was to try and claim that one. And Kieran Brown will take his time. We need to rush now. This one over the head of Van Dorn, and Warner nods it forward. Like Farrell, like a Seljak. Harrison straight to Laka Seljak again. Good touch from Berezanski to take him into space, and a really good ball too to spy Esky Van Dorn. And Van Dorn goes across the face, and in the end, Dimmy Nesta did pretty well to get a hand to that because there were some dangerous customers lurking. If you behind for another South Hobart corner. All this from Berezanski, who's offered plenty since coming on. And Dawn just opting to play a teasing little ball across here, trying to find Hamlet. And he had to get hands on that Nesta. Hamlet threatened at the back stick. South with the corner. Play by Nesta. Balls for Gorry. Adam Gorry shaping to shoot. Wouldn't sit for him though. Iski Van Dorn. Sliding challenge, although it was infringed in the end on the Canadian. Jack Bowman. Well, the offs to defer for the Morthog. And he swings it in over the head of Hamlet, away by Harrison. Declan Brown chipping forwards. Oscar Thomas nodding that into touch. Toggill. Finds Brown. Away by Morton. James back to Harrison. Swings this one in the Naden direction. Good use of the head to keep it in play. I think the second one definitely crossed the line though. Valiant effort, but just running out of real estate there. Here's Van Dorn, back to Gorry. Hamlet just tunneling in to Warrener there. Half between the pair of them. So we head towards the final 15 minutes. South Hobart to cut that gap to Devonport, back to 8 points. They've got a game in hand, and most crucially we'll meet them next Saturday at Valley Road. Join us for that one, because that is a season-defining game for both teams, one would think. Devonport would have win that. They'd be in a very strong position indeed. It would be very hard to rein in. If South win, well, it is on. A three-way title race is well and truly on at that point. It all gets very tight. But I think South will be pleased to have got past a potential banana skin in the Knights here today, and a pretty professionally done performance from them. In control nearly outside the first 5 minutes, and pretty dominant. Hardwick, oh, that's a poor ball. Oh, Van Dorn almost getting there. Naden, back to Harrison. The sense that Knights don't believe they've got a couple of goals in them here. One might change that though. One. Suddenly the belief might come surging back as Toghill. Let's look for Stewart, and Farrell just steps in. So the Knights are going to the bench here. And Matthias Toghill will be the man to be replaced. And Ryan Backhouse is the man coming on. We'll see if the youngster can take advantage of a few minutes here at the end. 15 minutes to try and spark a fight back for his team. Flicked on. Jack Bowman. Steering this one away. Line and stepping in there. Like it's going to be clean sheet. Kieran Brown from his return to the South Hobart net, although he hasn't exactly been overly encumbered with work today.
Hasn't had too much to do in there.
Might make it tougher for Ken Morton to decide who his keeper is, although I do think it's largely going to be dictated by the opposition's strengths. If they're a physical, strong side in the air, probably expect right. If they're going to try and rely on pacing behind, then Kieran Brown.
It's not a bad problem to have, is it? Having two really different keepers with different strengths.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. There's a couple of lines of thinking on that one. I've always thought that, you know, two good keepers is always a good thing. There's a line of thought that says if you don't have a clear number, if you've got two number ones, you don't have a number one. That's the counter argument to it. But look, I think it's been going pretty well for South. I don't think you can say goalkeeping's hamstringing them at all this year.
No.
It's been pretty good performances. Certainly Graham Wright is impressive in a couple of his starts he's had. It's Adam Gorry. Rolls this one into Hamlet. Hamlet back to Gorry. It's going to be quite the duel between those two keepers. See who gets, I guess, the FFA Cup around a 32 spot. The big prize up for grabs. See both of them in league action, but that huge game looming. Draw made this week. Ben Hamlet giving chase here, trying to get in behind. It's Hamlet. Great sliding block from Tyler Harrison, though. Defended that stoutly. Gorry just lost his balance. Might let in Callum Brown back the other way. Haven't seen a lot of this today. Brown gliding and running at the defence. Sends it out to Stewart. And Jack Bowman, starting in place of Hugh Ludford, has been near flawless at the back today. He's had a really good game, the Archer. Played that one back off of Stewart. Like a Seljak. Classily turning there. Got fouled too. Doesn't look out of place in the South Hobart midfield, young Laka Seljak. Against some pretty strong physical customers from opposing sides. The youngster hasn't taken a backward step. It's been impressive again today. Here's Brown. Young. One back by Esky Van Dorn to Berezanski. Berezanski Hamlet just counted his pass a little. That might have been for Laka Seljak.
I was going to say, I'm not sure that's where that one's meant to go.
I had my view rather obscured by a pole, but I think that was his option. Gorry slides into the channel. Clever little ball for Morton. Cuts it back. Defended away as far as Van Dorn, and Laka Seljak blazes over the top and puts it onto the roof of the neighbour's yard and back into the facility. So we'll save a bit of money there, but just lifted the head on that one, I believe, young Bradley Laka Seljak.
You're doing well from that range. Just put it over the net there, I think. Just a little bounce as well before he hit it. And
yeah, to be fair to him, that bobbled at the most inopportune of moments.
Yep, not ideal.
So got well under it in the end. Gorry. James. Brown. Swinging it long. Morton. First time to Esky Van Dorn. Van Dorn looking to find Morton, but Nestor was out. Alert of the danger. Sliding in ahead of the Morthog. One straight out of play. And General Sherman down there on the Knights bench. Just checking to see if the claret flowing from Brown there. Ticked off. Bowman. Hamlet. Really presents it up at the ball nicely today and playing that centre forward role well, bringing others into the play around him. Walking in the gap between the defensive lines of the Knights and receiving the ball, looking off to other players. It's been a great performance from Hamlet. Missed one he surely should have buried, but outside of that, very impressive again, and has found himself on the score sheet once more. Gorry looking for Laka Seljak, but Callum Brown was in there. Warner, he sends that one into the stratosphere, under the head of the Archer. And now spills out for Tom Young, who's had Backhouse making a pretty good run. Opted to go for Naden instead. Naden running at Havainen. And then sliding it through for Young. Great chance in for Young! Drove it straight at Kieran Brown, who shuts it down at the near stick. And a good save, but maybe again the Knights, they haven't had many looks, but when they have had them, they've been pretty good ones.
Yeah, they've really had a few pretty good looks at the goal, and this was another one, although the angle always favoured the keeper there. But still a well-hit shot and forcing a pretty good reflex save.
It will. There's Thomas Young there. Player has spent some time at centre-back, has stepped into midfield today, and shows there why, what he can do. Very well-rounded player. This one's worked in near post. Brown gets a fist to it. Declan Brown headed it, but straight to Nick Morton. And Berezanski's got open field out ahead of him. Dimmy Nesta alert to it. Well done by the veteran keeper. Awake to the danger. South want to take it quickly. Berezanski, well, might not be happy at losing his starting 11 place, young Berezanski. He's had a point to prove this afternoon. It's offered plenty since coming on. And they get Alex Walter back. They have some serious options out wide. Paul Van Dorn are fantastic today. It surprised me if at some point we saw Van Dorn or even Darcy Hall push back into kind of a number 10 role in midfield at some stage. So I reckon there'll be a bit of rotation through the South Hobart team. They've got plenty of options. Going to need their full squad if they involved in the FFA Cup. Here's Morton working back with James. Harrison so far as Loic Farrell. Now Ben Hamlet. Hamlet turning onto the left and firing. Great save, Nesta. Got down very nicely to it and denies Hamlet. Just a little slow with the release though, Nesta. Allowed South time to get back. Van Dorn. Gorry charging that down. Warrener. Stewart. Van Dorn won the ball. Not sure the Knights fans share that view, but I think it was a good decision. This Ben Hamlet's still struggling behind the plate at the moment, just stretching some cramps out, but he's just lurking behind everyone. Brown back to Brown. Stewart with a clever little flick. Callum Brown goes around the outside of the archer, cuts it back. Oh, well done, Thomas. Oh, he's positioning spot on there. Adam Gorry. Nick Morton just dwells on the ball a moment and rolls it out to Iski. Gorry just worked off it by Young, who thought he won it fairly, and certainly Declan Brown shares that view. Comes in to remonstrate, and tells him to get out of there. Not his business.
Yeah, not taking any of that nonsense, is he?
Take a no guff. Have a look here. You can see why he gave it. Gorry was certainly looking for it, but it's like
he made the most of contact that was definitely there.
Yeah, I can see why Young was frustrated also. But Hamlet really struggling with the cramps. He's just been lying in that part of the field for a good 5 minutes, just about.
He hasn't moved, has he? Made himself very comfortable there.
Looks like Casper Hallam is being prepared on the bench, I think. So we'll see if the explosive wheels and Hallam are set to be introduced. Might be Ben Hamlet that makes way, and so much as he's struggling with the cramp, he's just going to exit the field beyond the goals. So he has just about run himself into the ground, Ben Hamlet, which is no surprise given the work rate.
No, I think he probably deserves the last 5 minutes off, honestly. He's really done his bit.
So he'll slowly hobble his way back around, and in the meantime, someone who's got no troubles with movement at all in Casper Hallam comes on. Got some serious wheels, this kid. And if he gets the open field in front of him, watch out. Long from Nesta. Young, cut out by Havainen. Oh, Sharp turn from Berezanski, classily done by the kid. Strokes the throw for Morton. Morton turning onto the right, tried to find Hallam. Just trying to tee up the youngster for a goal there at the Morthog. And the Knights' defence, as you've said before, Dul, they've done pretty well because they've been under constant pressure throughout.
Yeah, there hasn't been much let up for them, has there?
That's a lot of defending in the penalty area to do in this one. So much of the game has been camped in South Hobart's final third. Here's Morton to Havine, back to Morton. Iski Van Dorn. Oh, just a little too cute there, and strong play from Tom Young, and a rather cynical challenge from Toby Havine. Tom Young is furious at that. It's definitely going to be a slice of cheese for Havine. There's no doubt this is a slice. The very definition of a professional foul, but Tom Young taking absolute exception to it. Absolutely spraying him in response.
Yeah, not too happy about it, was he? I think as you say, I think the yellow card was a pretty easy call there, and I think that's all we need, though.
Yeah, I think so. So in to the book goes Toby Havinen. Knights with a late set piece here. Can they pull one back and give us an interesting little stoppage time period? From downtown it goes at Brown. Dangerous ball off the head of Farrell. And Berezanski looking up to Van Dorn. Well attacked by Brown though. Wanted it more. Well, Harrison, sorry. Comes to Nort. Havinen. And stay in for Morton. Deflected off of him. As Hardwick tried to clear, and he's invited danger here. He's led in Iski Van Dorn. Van Dorn, he wants to square it for Hallam, played it behind him. I think Iski Van Dorn may be a little too unselfish. Casper Hallam. Berezanski. Shot was blocked. The youngsters looking to get on the act, and I think you've seen the likes of Van Dorn and Morton only too happy to try and set up their young teammates here. Both have passed up shooting opportunities in the last 10 minutes or so, and opted to try and square one for the kids instead.
That pretty much sums up Van Dorn's day there, doesn't it? Even in the 90th minute, he's still running really hard to chase down a 50-50, and then rather than blazing away himself, trying to tee it up for someone else.
Yeah, it's been a very selfless performance from Iski Van Dorn. He's backhouse. Touch went straight to the archer. Now Hallam might sense a chance just to take them all on here. He wanted some support. There was absolutely none. And he just wanted to play a pass, I think. But maybe he should have just tried to burn them all off. Berezanski should get to this first, but Stewart won it decisively. Stewart, good ball for Backhouse. Backhouse to Naden. Naden needed one more pass to find Brown. It just wasn't there. It's been the story of the day in attack. Morton clears the area. We had 0 minutes of added time in the first half. Can't think we're going to have more than 2 here in the second.
No, I don't think there's been too many more stoppages, has there?
Long from Nesta. Professionally done from South to round out round 16 of the season. Yesterday, of course, Hobart Zebras getting back on track with an impressive second half performance to win 3-0 over Launceston City. And Olympia maintaining their pursuit of the Strikers with a comfortable 5-1 win over Riverside. And it was the Fox in the Box show over at Wentworth Park as Miles Barnard set the new record for most goals in an NPL Tasmania game. He scored 8 as Devonport demolished Clarence 12-0. So they boost their goal difference a bit, which could yet prove crucial. But fair to say they're going to face a slightly more formidable opponent next Saturday at Valley Road. South Hobart team will head there for the cup final rematch off the back of another win. That is going to be massive. The scope of this season will become much bigger. South Hobart, Devonport. Backhouse's touch. There, Jack Bowman was strong. Thomas away. Warrener thumped it straight to Farrell. Farrell lofts it over the top. Jimmy Nesta able to gather here in the dying embers of this one at Darcy Street. Havinen off his head. Be a Knights throw in. James combining with Brown. Then Naden. Iski Van Dorn. Nominal game from him today. He's rather run down a blind alley here, though. He'll get the throw in. As Brown just plays it behind Gorry, and Silver Fox not letting him roll that one down the length of the pitch as he perhaps intended. And on. Harrison away. It might just about be that. We've travelled 93 minutes. Final whistle. Surely just about imminent here. South Hobart are going to be victors. 2-0, and there it is. Confirmation of full time here at the Theatre of Dreams in South Hobart with a deserved victory, 2-0. They bossed the contest for the majority of the afternoon. Probably could have had more goals, but they walk away pretty happy with the 2-goal victory. And now, bigger fish to fry. All eyes turn to Valley Road next Saturday for the rematch of the Cup final. But they'll head into this one off the back of what was a pretty decisive display today.
Yeah, it's the kind of performance you expect from a team contending for a title, isn't it? Really professional, no fuss, but they just got the job done, and they never really felt like they were threatened, I don't think.
Never panicked when it was only 1-0 for a long period there too. The chances were mounting, but they just believed they'd get that second goal eventually. And they duly did. The substitute, Berezanski, with a fine hit coming on, smashing that first time. And that secured the 3 points for South. A big victory here to end a massive weekend of football in Tasmania. Well, all smiles there for South. Big week for their club. They will learn the fate of the FFA Cup draw during the week. Will they have an A-League opponent? Will they be travelling somewhere in the country? Will they be hosting a team? We'll wait and find out who they cop in the FFA Cup, and then, of course, travelling up to Devonport next Saturday. Do join us for that one. But from myself and Jacob Dool, on Stream Slice of Cheese team here at Darcy Street, it was South 2 good this afternoon and comfortable 2-0 winners.